segment of this June episode, we'll be talking about the Summit County Chipping Program. And here to shed light on it is Dan Schroder from Summit County CSU Extension. Welcome, Dan.
Thanks, Julie. I'm glad to be here.
Oh, we're glad to have you. So, Dan, the Summit County Chipping Program is one of our signature wildfire preparedness and mitigation programs here in Summit County. Tell us what this program is all about.
The chipping program is all about homeowner action. So if you're wondering how you can participate in this wildfire prevention conversation, and you see things happening on the landscape, but you wonder how can you bring it home and contribute, you can really participate by putting some wood out for the chipping program.
Okay, and so ultimately this is really about creating defensible space around our residences. And so what exactly is defensible space?
Great, so we've already zoomed in on our private property. Defensible space is looking at your structure and creating a buffer surrounding the structure that could give, there's a couple things that come with it. Firefighters can have a chance to help protect your structure if you give them a place to be. And then if there's a wildfire approaching your structure, that break in the vegetation could be the critical key factor that keeps the flames from reaching your home. Conversely, if there's a fire that originates within the structure, that break will keep your home from burning the forest down.
All right. And so basically, if folks are interested in creating defensible space around their homes, they can remove trees and so that they're creating a break in that flammable vegetation, and then Summit County will come around and collect that material and chip it and haul it away.
Yeah, and thanks for doing the breakdown. Exactly. You create defensible space, cut down trees, shrubbery, flammable vegetation. Our first zone we talk about is zone 1, that's 30 feet from the house. And then we go out to the 100-foot mark for zone 2, and then to your property edge, your feathering. But ultimately, do a robust cut close to the home, and then create more of a park-like environment where you have clusters of vegetation broken by space between crowns, and then feathering out beyond that. All that material that's a conifer or aspen tree, that's really the material we're taking, is evergreens and aspen trees. You can put them in a nice pile on the edge of your property, roadside, perpendicular to the road, so the butt ends, the fat ends of the branches are facing the road, and you need to go to the schedule, which is listed online. Our web address is summitcountyco.gov/chipping, and that's where you'll find when we're servicing your geographic area of Summit County. So you'll know what week across the next couple months our crews will be coming by your house, and when your piles are perfectly set out for us, we'll do exactly what you said. Chip it into a box truck and haul it all away, thereby minimizing our wildfire hazard.
All right, and this is a free program, so who is eligible to participate?
Given that it's free, every homeowner, landowner in Summit County who is willing to put in the sweat equity. So the free is you don't have to pay any cash, but we do require that you contribute by doing the work on your own property. Now there is a nice option. One of our partners here in Summit County, the Summit Association of Realtors, has offered realtor labor, so people are able to come to your home if you're unable. So if you have a hard time doing that physical labor but would like to create a defensible space and put material out for chipping, contact the Summit Association of Realtors and they may be able to send some labor out to assist for free. Back to that. This is a really great public community service.
Great. And so as you mentioned, we have a schedule where each neighborhood in Summit County is designated a particular week throughout the summer to put their piles out of their flammable vegetation that they've cut, and then we'll take it away. And so there are a few changes to the chipping program for folks who have participated in the past. There are a few changes that we've implemented this year. What are some of those changes that people should be aware of?
Thank you for prompting that. We have 5 summers of this program that have been conducted. So this is the 6th annual. And this year there are a couple of changes. The primary one is that we're only coming around to each geographic area, each neighborhood one time this summer. In all the previous years we came through somewhat early in the summer, and then we did it again late summer, fall. And this year it's one time. We're also adamant that the wood piles be out at 8 a.m. Monday morning of the week that your home resides in that geographic area. And sometimes in the past people have asked that we we mulch or chip the material back onto their property for landscaping. And really the objective of this program is to remove the flammable vegetation. So as much as you might want that, we're actually not offering that this year. We're going to be removing all the material that gets put out for the chipping program.
Right, because those chips can be flammable themselves.
And if people did or didn't know, we see more and more, the research is showing that those communities and homes that burn down primarily from ember intrusion. So this is, we always envision this flaming front engulfing a neighborhood, and that has occurred, and that's a really devastating thing. But ultimately, most of the time, the big flaming front is far, half a mile far maybe, from a community, and it's all these embers that are raining down on the neighborhoods that quietly mill around, and people don't even know there's a problem. And your mulch might be the reason why your house burns down. So we're trying to emphasize that minimization of flammable vegetation anywhere near the home is the best approach.
All right, good to know. And so what are some steps that for people who may want a little more of a customized look at their property from the expert's point of view on what should be done to create defensible space, how can they go about doing that?
Wildfire mitigation assessment. And so there are 2 fire districts in Summit County. In the upper blue, which is everything south of the high school, that's the red, white, and blue fire protection district. And if you live in that part of the county, contact Red, White, and Blue Fire Protection District, and their wildfire mitigation team will schedule you. They're pretty busy, but they'll come out to your property and do an assessment. They'll do a full write-up and give you lots of ways that you can continue to help protect your property. Everywhere else in Summit County, the Snake River Basin is Keystone, the 10-mile river basin is Frisco, and of course we get the lower blue towards Silverthorne and everything in between. The Summit Fire and EMS is that fire protection district that you would contact to have a similar service. They'll schedule a time to come out to your property and do a walk around and give you some real actionable items you can do to help protect your own home, which in turn protects your neighbor, and that cascades through communities.
Okay, great. And then, so if folks do take action and create some defensible space, what are the materials guidelines for participation in the chipping program?
You know, we're somewhat specific about the materials, and there's reasons why we can't take some things. But to get right to what we do take, anything that's an evergreen, if it has a needle that's the leaf, evergreen trees can be put out. And the skinny stuff is the really flammable, really quick to catch. But we're inviting people to put whole logs up to 12 inches. So if you're to do defensible space and zoom in on zone 1, that 30 feet out from your house, we would encourage you to cut down trees that have a sizable girth, 12-inch diameter, and then if you lop that up into 10-foot long sections, you can put that curbside. So if you're feeling less inclined to go for whole trees, by all means, limb your branches up, put all that branch material curbside, roadside, whatever it may be. And then on the pile guidelines, we are allowing 5 feet wide. So if you envision the road edge, or if you're standing on the road looking back at your house, the pile can be 5 feet wide and 5 feet tall and 10 feet back perpendicular to the road into your property.
Okay.
And so we're giving this block opportunity of a pile basically, and then we're allowing 10 piles per property. I often invite people to think about when they're building their piles, they ask what's the appropriate pile size? 5 by 5 by 10, but envision a human being walking up to your pile to disassemble it to put it into the chipping machine. Now we may have a grapple, we may have some bigger equipment, but if you can just empathize with the crew, then you're going to help us help you be successful.
Okay, so the more neatly stacked all those piles are, the more efficiently our crews can work.
And efficiency is key. We want to make sure to get through every street in every subdivision in that service area week so that we can remain on schedule.
Perfect. And so then in terms of materials, we're accepting all kinds of trees. So any kind of tree except for cottonwoods and willows.
Right. People may wonder what's that all about. Cottonwood and willow are really a high moisture content plant. They might fall into the firewise plantings category. We like to see them out there. They minimize fire intrusion. Now, of course, everything will burn eventually, but that high moisture content is really good to help protect environments. They tend to be riparian or wetland kind of plants, and that's good to maintain in the wetlands. And then on our equipment side of things, they are very stringy. The cellular type within these plants is not conducive to chipping. In fact, this material, shoestrings, ends up...
Because it's so fibrous.
So fibrous. It wraps around the drum, it clogs the chipping equipment, and we just mentioned a minute ago about efficiency. We need to be able to continue to plow through Summit County to get all of the neighborhoods throughout the summer. So please don't put out cottonwood or willow. And since we're saying the what don't to put, no fence posts, nothing with any nails, nothing that was treated material, weeds, shrubbery, bags of whatever it may be, needles. All this is really great material to remove from your property, get away from your home. But this free public service program can only take so much. So those items that we don't take in the chipping program, people are more than welcome to incorporate in their trash or bring to the Summit County Resource Allocation Park scrap. Some folks might know it as our landfill. And please continue to do your part in removing that flammable material from around your home, but just know only some things can be taken by the chipping program.
All right, so just trees, no cottonwoods, no willows.
There we go.
All right. And so which neighborhoods will we be heading to first?
Let's do it.
This year.
In June, this being the June segment, we're going to start June 17th, which is Monday. Have your wood out Monday, 8 a.m. And June 17th, we're going to begin in the Wildernest and Mesa Cortina zones of Summit County. And then we're going to progress through North Summit County, the lower blue, by going slightly north towards Ruby Ranch, Willowbrook. That area would be the second zone, I guess you will. It's about the third week of June. And then we're going to the Raven, Three Peaks, Eagle's Nest, and wrapping our way around the lower blue at that point. Hamilton Creek, eventually making our way to Ptarmigan, basically through June and July.
Okay, great. And so for the full schedule, all the details, all the different neighborhoods listed there, where can people go to find that?
Got to go to the website. That's the greatest spot because all the information that was mentioned here today is reiterated in a written form there. We have some videos about the chipping program from past seasons. SummitCountyCO.gov/chipping. You type that into your address bar and you're going to get all the information you need to know about the chipping program, when we're coming to your neighborhood, and what you can put out.
All right, fantastic. Well, thanks so much, Dan, for all the work that you've done leading up to this year's chipping program and all the work that lies ahead to help keep Summit County safe from wildfire.
And hopefully everyone else helps us keep Summit County safe from wildfire as well.
All right, stick with us. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to talk about some steps that Summit County is taking to mitigate climate change.